From the YBA Phoenix Fitness 24/7 basketball facility in Rockland, California, it's Coach's Rize Time with Coach C. Collins.
Get it started. 3, 2, 1.
Coach's Rize Time.
Hey, how you doing? This is Coach C. Collins, and this is Coach's Rize Time, where I talk a little bit of AAU basketball, give a little bit of insight, and give my perspective on a few coaching tips, tidbits, and things that can help you out. As always, thank you for tuning in and taking the time to hear me out. Whatever venue you're listening on, it's much appreciated. Thank you for those who've been supporting, especially with the Patreon and the Podbean Patron. We really appreciate, when I mean us here at the podcast, and mainly myself. Definitely appreciate you guys who've been supporting. First off, let me do a couple of shout outs for the followers who did the Patreon, because that's part of the stipulation. I want to give you your credit where it's due, man, for supporting me and Mark and Ty and this podcast and what we believe in. Olivia San, thank you for your support. Also want to give another shout out to FT Moppins. And again, I'm not going to put people's government names out there, but I'm going to put your Patreon and Podbean names out there and the followers that have been helping out. Another one is Ro. Thank you, Ro. Much appreciate to you, brother. Thank you for all your help, man. And I enjoy coaching your son. Stokes is eternal. Appreciate you, bro. You know, me and you go way back, man, like 4 flats on a Cadillac. So appreciate you, man, and everything you're doing. Hold on. Sorry. Got to pull this one up real quick. Where is it? Here we go. Miss Tasha, Luca, appreciate you, man. Thank you for letting me coach your son. Thank you for being real supportive. And I plan to do a lot more shout outs for a lot more people, but definitely want to get a few shout outs out there. Going to do more on the main show as well. So for today's topic, the biggest thing I wanted to talk about was the COVID year. You know, there's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of questions. You know, July's kicking up and things are getting back to normal-ish. Governor Newsom has June 15th when officially all the mask orders and everything are off the table, and I guess life's supposed to be relative back to normal. It seems a lot of people have been getting vaccinated with whether it was Pfizer or whatever you decided to use. So it does seem that things are getting relatively back to normal. But what I wanted to talk about was a lot of athletes are kind of not understanding how are they going to maneuver, you know, getting recruited. And I'm mainly speaking for high school athletes, don't understand how they're going to get recruited. Juniors are kind of like, man, what's going to happen to me for senior year? Seniors are really in a tough spot because unless, obviously, if you're an ESPN top 100, you're either going to the G League or, you know, you already are recruited at your school, or if you already just had a strong buzz about you with the, you know, I would say a 3.5 to 5-star athlete is most likely set. But what if you're that senior at a Division 7 in the middle of nowhere? You probably are good enough to play collegiate basketball, but nobody noticed you, nobody saw you because the market's so big. So I'm going to kind of give my overall assessment, my opinion, my thoughts on it, and kind of the best advice I can give for kids that are kind of, and kids and parents, and even coaches, if you're listening, to how to kind of maybe maneuver this COVID retaining year that they had. Before I get more into that, definitely want to give a big shout out to Dr. Dish. I've been in talks with them and their company. They are talking about sponsoring About That Life podcast and becoming a partner. And they're a product I believe in. I've used it myself. The original Dr. Dish, which their program or their machines have made quite a few technological advances since then, and I've enjoyed using them in my gym. I know the trainers at Impossible Next Door use it, so it would be a great partnership to, you know, have them, you know, allow us to work with them and to help sponsor the show. So big shout out to Dr. Dish. We definitely appreciate you. That'll be more in the works. I'll get more into that later on as that contract evolves, but really grateful to even be considered and even to have these guys, you know, take a look at me and say, hey, we like what you're doing, man, and we want to help you out. The biggest thing is, hey, if you're listening and you've made it this far, maybe hit that follow button. Go check out the main show About That Life, or check it out on YouTube. One small click for you helps out a lot for me and what we do here. But let's get back to the topic. So with COVID, right? Let's get it clear on the NCAA's ruling on this, right? This happened March 30th, 2020. This is basically for all Division I to Division III. I believe, I'm pretty sure, no, I'm 100% sure, I think. I'm 100% sure NAIs are following this as well. But, I'm going to try to give you a couple of tidbits, a quick summary. This is from ncaa.org. So, go ahead, look it up, check it out yourself if you want to get a clear understanding. The council on Monday voted to allow schools to provide spring sports student athletes an additional season of competition and an extension of their period of eligibility. Members also adjusted financial aid rules to allow teams to carry more members on scholarship to account for incoming recruits and student athletes who had been in their last year of eligibility who decided to stay. In a nod to the financial uncertainty faced by higher education, the council voted also provided schools with flexibility to give students the opportunity to return for 2020-2021 without requiring that the athlete's aid be provided at the same level awarded for 2019-20. This flexibility applies only to student athletes who have exhausted eligibility in 2019-20. Basically, what they're saying is they're giving enough money for recruits, but they're also, having enough set aside for the ones who want to retain. And it's so what needs to be clear is it's not only freshmen who can stay. Seniors can even retain their year if they want to, if they still have basically time on the clock. They go through these waivers, and if they want to, they can retain their year and play another, year of collegiate basketball, football, baseball, whatever it may be. So it puts things in a very interesting state of flux. You have this stagnant year that's going to affect a lot of people. So, but the NCAA is allowing it to happen. So that's the situation. That's basically what it is, which means collegiate athletes that were there can come back, and college athletes, that maybe want to get their Van Wilder on and stay another year to, just enjoy life a little bit, play a little bit more sports before they have to be super grown-ups, like a lot of us are. They can stay and do their thing. So what does that do, and how does that affect the high school guys? Well, let me drop this for you. It's going to make a lot of things difficult. It's going to make it pretty hard. For seniors, you're in a tough spot. There's no doubt about that. I'm going to focus more on the juniors about to be seniors, and I'll say a little bit of what I think the seniors can do to give themselves a fighting chance. So for the juniors about to be seniors, don't freak out. This is what I want you guys to understand. And we know the live period's coming up. We know it's about to be July 2021. Today it's March 10th. So, you got a little bit of time. The live period starts July 8th through the 11th. That's the Division I NCAA live period when things can be official and they can kind of check you out and be there. And I guess a mask will be voluntary by that time. So, but they will be able to kind of get back to normal-ish with that. Right now in June, as most of you know, the high schools are doing their thing. High school leagues are happening, and camps, a lot of camps. Some of my boys went to the St. Mary's camp. So I know East Bay. Shout out to East Bay because I have a great relationship with them. They're going to be going to their camp. So there's a lot of moving parts in June, but it's mainly for high school. So with that being said, how do you maneuver this? Parents, athletes, what do I do? What's my next step? Well, the first thing is get through July. Go to July, play in the live periods, get on your AAU teams, play the best basketball you can, and really try to get noticed. Coaches, my advice, set things up with media people right away. Beach City Hoop, Simply Basketball, Ball is Life, Overtime, et cetera, et cetera. And if you have your own, private media people in your AAU clubs, or maybe you have videography skills as a coach. I know Mark does with his program, God Given Talent GGT. Really maneuver that, use that to your advantage. Coaches in AAU, you're not just the coach. You have a lot of work and a lot more to do, and it can weigh on you, and it can be a lot, but it's something that needs to be done. Get to these showcases, talk to directors, get to these events early, try to get your deposits in. Make sure your players are set and good to go. Make sure parents have schedules early. That would be the first step. July is going to be a huge month. And the thing is, junior athletes, please understand, most, if not all of you, will not get offers, not official offers. And what I mean by that is letters of intent. You will probably get a lot of interest. You will have coaches probably call you, contact you, and talk to you about the future. But next year is probably going to be the biggest pool. If I was to take a guess, and again, this is just my opinion, if I was to take a guess, this will be the biggest pool of unsigned seniors ever to happen. Now, with that being said, it doesn't mean that, everything is wrong, because usually being an unsigned senior is in a tough spot. But hold on. Let's circle that back. It's not that it's necessarily the worst spot to be in, but it's not a spot that traditionally people want. But with COVID happening, it's a lot of people that lost their chances or opportunities. And we're talking about not the top tier people, not the 0.1%, less than 1% that are already set and good to go and have been looked at by ESPN and all the ratings and rankings, guys that are potentially probably going to go to the NBA. They're good. We're talking about the other, 90%, the 95%. We're talking about, the normal athletes who are still high-level athletes, but just not quite to the point where everyone's ready and guaranteed to give them money. Those colleges do have flexibility to recruit you. I know William Jessup, they're starting a JV program just to get those kids in, get them acclimated to the college system, and then get them a potential chance to play and get an official spot on the college team. I know they're probably not the only one following that trend. There's probably quite a few. Sorry about that, y'all. There are quite a few that are going that option, creating JV programs within their college. Parents don't exclude that. Kids don't exclude that. It can work out for you. The July is really just a month you need to focus on and give it the best shot you can. Coaches, get your kids a lot of exposure out there. Just understand, if you don't come away with offers, if you don't come away with a bunch of people calling your phone, that's not a bad thing. Relax, chill out. Now, again, if your program isn't necessarily doing their job, if they're not making these calls, then yeah, maybe for your senior year, it might be time to look elsewhere or look at other programs, not just because of the talent, but, look at the stage, look at the history. YBA for myself, and I pride myself on my capabilities to talk to college coaches and have the public platform to do it. And people trust my judgment because of the level of athlete I've been able to produce in the past. And YBA has done an incredible job of having a history and a longevity to do that, because we've been around 17 years. So, figure it out for yourself, and you'll figure out what works. Oh, that also reminds me, let me shout out Compton Magic and E-Top, because I know it's been a while since we talked, or I've talked. But Memorial Day weekend, I took my high school teams out there and happened to meet E-Top. We had a great conversation. I know a few of the directors, Justin, who used to be the head coach at Ponderosa High School. Me and him go way back. He's a co-director there. So just shout out to those guys, and great, phenomenal job at the tournament and the way you guys handled things. But moving forward, let's talk about seniors. So seniors, understand you graduate in high school. It's going to be tough. My biggest thing is get to a JC. That's just me personally. I know everyone's prep school. Well, problem with that is, if those prep school coaches don't specifically want you, then you're paying a hell of a lot of money going out of pocket. My suggestion, get to a JC. Even if you don't make the team officially that senior year, build your body up, keep enhancing your game, get ready for that next year, because you will get an opportunity. The great part about JC is, remember the rules, right? When you start a full semester, that's when your clock starts, right? But you do have the options of gray shirting and red shirting. For NAIA, it goes by full-time semester. So technically, if you don't make the team for some of you seniors, you can go 6 credits, 7 credits, maybe even 11 credits. Again, I could be out of the loop. I could be older. I haven't been to college in a while. But you could take 11 credits and still be considered a part-time student, and maybe not even officially start your clock until that next year. But JC would be, in my opinion, the biggest ballpark you need to approach and go at. It is a very uncertain season, and still do the NCAA live stuff. Definitely go to JC showcases. Jerry Freitas is known for doing that a lot. Go to his showcases. Really try to get on all senior teams. I wouldn't suggest being a senior on a 17U team, which is typically juniors. But it doesn't mean you have to get on an 18U team as well. I would just say get on a senior team. West Coast Elite has really done a good job of making all senior teams or high academic teams. If you're a high academic senior, definitely would suggest looking at Division IIIs. What I mean is if you have a 3.8 or above, especially if you've taken college courses, I would definitely say that is something you might want to consider and look at. It's different. It's just tough because I know it's different for everybody in different scenarios, but that's what I would suggest for the juniors and seniors. Sophomores, I think you're kind of safe. You'll have that junior year. Things will kind of shift and get back to normal-ish. For those who are staying at their colleges, enjoy your next year and have a great time doing it. But that's, kind of what I want to put out there. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things you got to, really kind of gauge and figure out for yourself. I wish I could tell everybody how's it going to plan out and how's it going to go. But it's tough to say. It really is. Other than that, just be safe. Really think about everything that you're doing. Think about everything that's going on, and it'll work out. I'm fairly certain it'll work out. But other than that, I'm pretty much done. No, with COVID, it's made things a pretty tough sell right now, but I do think things will be okay. The biggest thing I could tell you, and again, just kind of collecting my thoughts, focus on July, give it your best shot, seniors and juniors. Let the chips fall where they may. Don't have expectation. Don't put pressure on yourself. Parents, relax. Things will be okay. Your kid will get to live their dream if they're doing everything the right way. Now, it doesn't mean you could just sit back and hope for the best. Be proactive. Email coaches, assistant coaches, not head coaches. Typically, they won't respond to you. And I'm talking about the third assistant, the second assistant, the equipment manager. Talk to those people. Make sure your AAU programs have a network of people they can talk to. I would say maybe stay away from those recruitment sites. They won't be very useful for those senior guys. JCs is definitely a way to look at, a way to go. So that's definitely something I would tell you to do. But with all that being said, I appreciate you if you took the time to listen. The links to me will be in the description. The links to the About That Life main show is in the description. And please, if you can, subscribe to the Patreon or the Patreon. I have both of them, the Podbean one and the Patreon. I make posts, try to do exclusive content, talk to you guys as my audience personally. Appreciate those who's listening. If it's enhancing you, if it's helping you know more about YBA and understand how this AAU works, I want you to know we appreciate you. Have a good day. Be safe out there, and I'm out.